House leaders.
I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you.
So we're so proud of Caleb. He's one of the house leaders at North, and so he is a student leader, and we're always proud of our student leaders. And we appreciate you being here today. And I'm gonna step out of the picture, let Ms. Hearn
Don't
get
worry,
your
I got
picture.
somewhere you've been into. All right, right here. 1, 2, 3.
All right, how about a hand for
Awesome.
Caleb?
For announcements, first announcement, I'd like to welcome Mayor Kachuba. Thank you for coming tonight. The second announcement, a little bit tougher. So Superintendent Ratliff, in our closed meeting, submitted resignation for retirement. So it's a retirement. We definitely appreciated all your time with Glen Heights Schools. It's been 36 years, I believe. And so through so many different roles, and all the work that we've done the last 2 years as superintendent. Really appreciated the partnership we've had, everything that you've done with the board through that time, helping Ms. Kachuba and I with both new board members. You've been an invaluable resource to us, coming on board with the school board. You've done so much for the schools. We'll be forever grateful to you.
Thank you so much. I mean, it has been the honor of my life to have this role.
All right, any other announcements? Do you have a motion for the adoption of the agenda?
So moved.
And a second?
Second.
Dr. Cox,
Yes.
Ms. Kachuba,
Yes.
Ms. Fuller,
Yes.
Ms. Woody,
Yes.
Mr. Stevens.
Yes.
All right, item 7, delegations.
So first we have our December Senior of the Month, Mr. Declan Wheeler. So we have a little video about Declan, and then we're going to invite him up and his family to get some pictures and congratulate him.
Our December Senior of the Month is Declan Wheeler. Declan is very interested in a lot of classes and learning and instruction that is application-based. He is currently enrolled in the Brightpoint Machining program. And during his time here at Glen Heights High School, he's loved all kinds of classes that relate to that, from tech foundations to physics to CAD, and doing all kinds of things where he can work with his hands, be creative, and expanding his knowledge. During his time here at Glen Heights High School, he has been very involved in athletics. He's enjoyed learning golf with great coaches such as Coach Seeley and Coach Crinkley, and with their help, he has learned a lot about discipline, practice, and the importance of staying on target with your goals. He also really enjoys and has been very committed to soccer. He's been playing on the soccer teams here at Glen Heights High School since the 8th grade, and he said it is a lot of fun. He also, through soccer and playing JV and varsity soccer, he's gotten to help with many soccer camps. And he's loved doing that, helping with younger kids, volunteering, and helping the next generation to find that passion in soccer and athletics like he has. He has really enjoyed giving back to the community in that way, and he really enjoys all the various volunteering and service aspects that he has found to do here at Glen Heights High School. After graduation, he wants to finish at Brightpoint, earn his certificate and degree from Brightpoint, perhaps get an internship, and he really hopes to get involved in the nuclear field, nuclear physics, or any other kind of application in that field. Please join me in celebrating Declan Wheeler as our December Senior of the Month.
I'll talk about him while he's coming up. Declan, we're super proud of you. Congratulations. had many successes, and we look forward to many other successes.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, I'm gonna remove Jocelyn's picture. I'm gonna let you stand up here, and we'll get you a picture here. And if Declan's family wants to come up, we'll get a picture of the whole family.
I open this one.
Yeah, there you go.
Here, I'll snap one of you first. 1, 2, 3, thank you. Alrighty, 1, 2, 3, and I'll get one this way too.
Can we get one with me?
2, 3, yes, there is definitely room for me, Mom, come on. There's always room for me, Mom.
Yes.
That's right.
Alrighty, 1, 2, 3. One this way for you. Oh, no. Got that. And 1, 2, 3. There we go.
All right. All right, so next we're gonna hear about our January Senior of the Month, Jocelyn Campbell.
Our January Senior of the Month is Jocelyn Campbell. During her time here at Clone Heights High School, Jocelyn has distinguished herself in her commitment and excellence to one of our most established and well-performing institutions, and that is the Marching Colonials. She has been in the Marching Colonials band all 4 years. She loves band, she loves the program, and she has done percussion and the snare in the marching band. She really loves the family connections that she's developed with the marching band, and she has helped others to feel connected in that way. She loves performing in all kinds of ways to show off how great the band is here at Clone Heights High School. She also, in terms of classwork, she loves history and has really enjoyed Miss Warwick's dual enrollment history class, and it has made things relevant to her and has motivated her to want to learn more about history. In addition to these academic pursuits, she's very involved in volunteering. She's done a lot with the community at her church, worked with the homeless, packing lunches, helping to provide blankets for the homeless, and she really enjoys those things that can benefit the community and all of us around us. She really enjoys volunteering in that way. She has a very large family. She has 2 brothers and 4 sisters. She also has a pit mix named Naya that she enjoys spending time with. She is very involved in her family and all the things that go along with being fully connected to her relatives. She plans to attend school for business and management after graduation. She hopes to possibly attend ODU, undergraduate, and then attend graduate school in the future. Please join me in celebrating Jocelyn Campbell as our January Senior of the Month.
We're so proud of you, Jocelyn. All right, I'm gonna come up here next to your picture, and then we'll get your family up here.
Alrighty, 1, 2, 3. Thank you.
All right, and all of Jocelyn's family, and you know what? Today is Jocelyn's sister's 10th birthday too.
Alrighty, 1, 2, 3. Oh, you got the jacket open now. We're good. We're ready now. All right, 1, 2, 3. There we go.
All right, how about another round of applause? So our next delegation tonight is to recognize our principals. The week of January 12th through the 18th was Principals Appreciation Week. And I can't see Mr. Ridley because of the screen, but I believe Mr. Ridley has a little treat bag for our principals.
I would just like all the principals and assistant principals in attendance to stand. delegation, we'd just like to say we thank you for your hard work, your dedication to all of our families, our students, and our parents in the division. We know your job. It's a hard job, but you guys do it so well. We appreciate everything you do. Before you leave tonight, we definitely have a bag for you, and principals, if your APs aren't here, you'll take their bags to them. Thank you again.
The board and stuff, I'm very appreciative of everything that you do. We see it through the staff, through the students. Your dedication is what makes this school system so great, so really appreciate it.
And then our last delegation is just, and we will formally recognize the board at the February board meeting, but just recognizing that February is School Board Appreciation Month. And, you know, for most of y'all know that the board is elected and they don't get paid a whole lot for what they do, but they put in a lot of time. And, you know, you just think about all of the things they have to be aware of and learn and help with to help guide the school division in a positive direction. And it has been such an honor to work with y'all, and we look forward to celebrating y'all next month, but it doesn't hurt to give them a round of applause this month.
So we'll move on to item 8, public comments. I believe we have one.
Yes. Any member of the public addressing the board shall approach the lectern, give his name and address in an audible tone of voice for the record, and address the board as a body rather than speak to any member. Unless further time is granted by the board, any member of the public shall address the board for a maximum of 5 minutes, regardless of the number of issues he desires to discuss. So Amanda Jones.
Hi. Amanda Jones. You said what else?
Can you go to the,
You can go election. And just state your address.
My address?
Yeah.
273 Lakeview Avenue, Logan Heights. 23824. This is my first time to one of these meetings, yo. I'm a little nervous. I'm just here to address a concerning matter for me as a mother. And I don't know if y'all were aware of the menu that our children eat, but it's concerning to me because I do work in the cafeteria. But first and foremost, I'm addressing it as a mother because my children don't eat at school. So that's concerning to me. Now, I work very early because I'm a bus driver also. Okay. So if my child does not eat at 5 o'clock in the morning, she wouldn't eat all day. And the breakfast is Cocoa Puffs or a honey bun that I would never give my child for breakfast. You know, that's sweets. And then you wanna wonder why these children are running around and can't sit still in the classroom. You're shutting them up. But for lunch, sometimes a breakfast meal is cooked. How is that possible? Sometimes they get French toast for lunch, sausage for lunch. Why are we not making those meals available for breakfast? COVID is over. We're giving them a bag breakfast in the morning. We're giving them Cocoa Puffs in a bag with milk. That's their breakfast. Or a honey bun in a bag with milk and their fruit. They're being denied juices now for those that can't drink milk. Why? We have juices. Today I had to deny a whole bunch of children, and I'm the face that y'all see that has to deny them. And I don't think it's fair if they don't drink juice, they're being told to go drink water at a fountain. And if they don't drink milk, they're being told to go drink water at a fountain. And we have juices available for them to drink. We have children that are allergic to pork, certain foods, peanut butter. For example, today was pork and peanut butter for the second choice. A child could not have that. They were told to get 5 slices of cucumbers and an apple, and that was a full meal. How is that possible? Some of these babies don't eat all day. Okay? That's the only meal they get and what they get in school. And you're telling a child that 5 slices of cucumbers and an apple is a full course meal for them. That made my heart cry, but I can't do nothing. My hands are tied. Another day, another child was told that peas and carrots and french fries was a full course meal because they couldn't eat what was there, the first choice or the second choice. They being denied stuff that we have. They being denied seconds when we're throwing out pans and pans of food. Why? I'm not understanding. And they questioning us. If you're gonna throw that food out, why I can't have it? I understand we have to ration and portion and all this stuff, but that food is going to a pig or to the trash, and we're gonna feed a pig better than we do our children? I mean, I think about my own kids before, but all of my babies are my babies. Okay, my babies on my bus, my babies in the cafeteria, they all my babies. I see them as my children. And it's not fair that they're being treated this way. And I don't know if you know that they're being treated this way. So I'm here letting you know. That's it.
Thank you very much. Any other public comments? Okay. Moving on to item 9, the consent agenda. The first item is item A, the school board minutes for the special meeting minutes of November 19th, the regular meeting minutes of November 19th, and then the organizational meeting minutes of January 14th, 2025. Item B, the VSBA continuing policy services contract. Item C, the VSBA code contract for school board members. Item D, the Clinton Heights Fire Department donation to building trades 2002 Mid-Atlantic trailer, $900. And then the donation of electric guitars from Carlos Spears, valued at around $600. So motion to adopt the consent agenda. A second?
Dr. Cox?
Yes.
Ms. Kachuba?
Yes.
Ms. Walworth?
Yes.
Ms. Woody?
Yes.
Mr. Neese?
Yes. I just want to share my gratitude for the donations. Item 10, new business. So we'll start with the superintendent's budget presentation. 25-26.
How's everybody? Everybody good? Okay, so I can't stand behind here because when I teach, I have to walk. And so I hope y'all forgive me for that, but here we go. So we have our annual budget presentation tonight. I just want to start off by thanking a few people. One, Mayor Kachuba, thank you for being here for this tonight. We said crafting a budget. Crafting a budget is created by tons of people. But first, I want to thank Colleen Hearn. So many of y'all know that I can put some words together, but I have zero ability to pretty it up with technology. And Colleen is my girl. And I don't know what I'd do without her. So Colleen, thank you for helping me out. She really does a great job. And then just to thank you to all the other hands, Melissa Lynch and Troy especially put in many hours to make this come together. So here we go. So first of all, we always include these 2 slides. One is my responsibility as superintendent to present a budget presentation to you. And it's a proposal. It's a starting point from which we will work together and roll our sleeves up and figure out how to best use the revenue that we anticipate receiving to help our kids. And then beyond that, our city charter says that, and all of these words basically say, in March, the board will be asked to vote on what we've agreed on, and then we will hand it over to the city to fold it into their budget. But what guides us when we sit down to start thinking about a budget? In my office, if you've been in my office, I have these 4 little whiteboards on the closet doors, and the very top of the very first one says, make every decision based on what's right for kids. And that is the guiding principle of everything that I do when I come to work and what I ask of principals. And I believe we're very like-minded, and I believe that of the board as well, that y'all are very committed to doing what's best for kids. And I think if we have that common ground and we're rooted in colonial pride and we're being very intentional about what we do for kids, I think we will have a great outcome. We have a tradition in Colonial Heights. Many of us went to school here. I did, and I'm very proud to have been a Colonial my whole life. And I think we have exceptional schools. We have a great academic tradition, and we want to continue that. And so when we think about a budget, we think about that being part of it, and that we just want to continue these great traditions. And we want to make sure that we provide students what they need. We meet them at the door, we figure out what they need, and then we give them all those tools so that when they leave us, they're set up for success. So the budget process really begins for the next year as soon as school starts the current year. And so y'all may remember that Troy brought the budget calendar proposal in September to the board to be voted on. In December, principals and directors all have their 30 minutes to an hour of this is what we want with all of us. And then in January, the state drops their calc tool, and and that allows Melissa to figure out what revenue we can anticipate from the state. We received some information from the city. Thank you so much. About what revenue we might anticipate from them. And then we kind of already have a picture of the federal allocations. And then all of that comes together for us to have a budget presentation, and then we'll work together to figure out what we really want to push forward. So when we think about building the budget, in my mind, when I think about what do I have to think of first is make every decision based on what's right for kids. And then I think about the strategic plan. That is the guiding force for us for what we're going to do. Okay, that's our 5-year plan. And so when I became superintendent, we had a work session. Some of y'all were here, you might remember that. And y'all pulled out of that strategic plan what you felt were priorities. We've been working on those. And you may remember those spreadsheets from time to time. I'll update you. And so that is in the back of my mind when we're thinking about a budget. And then we think about our facilities. And those of y'all that are building principals know that our buildings are not brand new and they have needs. And so we need to make sure that we're keeping in mind what those needs are. So, for example, I don't watch the news very much, but I did catch that a school in Dinwiddie, middle school in Dinwiddie, lost a boiler and they had to close school. But we always want to make sure that we have enough money in our back pocket in case we need to do something like that, like put a boiler in. Then we have instructional challenges. We'll talk about those in just a minute. We always look at school and division data. We look at it for this year. We've been looking at it over 20 years to see where we've been, what can we learn, where are we going. And then we always have our wish lists. So all the principals and directors get to share what they hope to see. Now, you all know that we have requirements from the state. And so this year we happen to have instructional challenges that fall into new instructional standards in reading and math, which have been, I want to give a shout out to all our teachers, especially. It's been a very heavy lift for our teachers, especially our elementary folks. We have a new state accountability system that we're already operating under, and I have to be careful. Dr. Cox knows how I feel about all these things, but we're just learning the rules, but we're operating under the system. So I have a lot of feelings about that I will not share in this hour and 15-minute presentation. And then we have things that we need to keep an eye on, like guidance from the state about ratios for ESL students and special education students. And then a challenge just within our community is we have quite a few transient students. And I thought it was interesting. We were looking at some data earlier this fall where we looked at how many students at the middle school were new to the middle school in 6th, 7th, and 8th grade since 21 or 22. And it was almost 60%. 39% were new in one grade. So that's only 60% have been with us in just that little bit of time. So you're looking at a lot of new to us kids, and a lot of those students require specialized services, special education, Title I, mental health services, and other instructional supports. So that really is a significant challenge for our division as we move forward. But we have strengths. And so I think it is really important to always think about, when I think about something as huge as a budget, you know, what do we start and what do we build upon? And I think we build upon first our people. Our people are our greatest asset. We have amazing teachers, leaders, and staff in our schools that meet the challenges of helping our students each day. We have a very supportive school board, and I can tell you, I can call any of these board members any day, anytime, and they act like they're happy to talk to me. I don't know if they are or not, but they at least are supportive, and I don't mean at least, they're very supportive, and they're always helpful. One of our other strengths, I'm going to spend just a minute on this, is I truly believe our MOU, our Memorandum of Understanding with the city, is one of our huge assets. And thank you to Greg and all that continue to support that. So if you don't know, most superintendents have to go to city council or the board of supervisors and say, here's our budget, could you please give us some money? The MOU allows us a certain percentage of some of the revenue streams from the city to count on it every year. And so we already know going into our budget what we're going to have, and we don't have to go and wonder and come back. And what a gift that is. And I know I'm stepping away as superintendent at the end of this year, but I hope that forever that will be in place and that people will continue to recognize the importance of the partnership that we have with our city and how we intertwine and how that really does help our schools to function well. So that's not my plug for that, but I really believe that's a huge part of our success here. Our number one priority is to make sure we sustain and recognize our staff by providing them what they need to do great work for our kids. And now look, we're going to get in the nuts and bolts of some of this. So employee benefits and compensation. I think it's important that we take just a quick minute to reflect on what has happened over the last few years. And a big shout out and kudos to Troy and Melissa for their work with the Evergreen studies to help align our teacher and non-teacher scales with surrounding divisions and to create pay scales that have 30 steps each. Some of our positions did not have that, and it really is a career scale for each position, and we have equal increments between each step, which we did not have before. That was a worthy but very costly venture, and it really requires us to earmark funds over the next couple of years to make sure that we can sustain those salary adjustments. Okay, so for this year, this is what everybody always wants to see. The state budget includes a 3% for SOQ funded positions. SOQ stands for Standards of Quality, and that makes up about 60% of the positions in our division. We have always had a tradition of saying, if we're going to give SOQ people 3%, we're going to give everybody 3%. So that is what this budget proposal is putting out there, is a 3% increase for all employees. The estimated cost of that is a little over $1 million. Now we're going to talk about health insurance. Buckle up. So health insurance rates have been really good over the last couple of years. We are self-funded. That means our administrative and claim fees must meet the actual costs of providing coverage. And so we have had a higher than expected claim and increase in costs. And so we will have to have some additional employee contributions. It's going to require an adjustment. And so I kind of went back over the last few years. And so if you look at this, let's start with 23-24. There was an 8.1% increase. I realized late today that I probably did this chart upside down. So it should have started here and gone down. It would have made more sense. So 8.1% in 23-24. Last year in my budget presentation, we had a 0% increase. When all was said and done, by the time we came in March, we really needed to have a 13%, but because we'd already told you 0, we weren't going to go back and do that. So we dipped into the contingency fund of the self-insurance pot, right? Bucket. what have you. And so we swallowed this as a division. This year, right now, it's looking like a 23.7% increase, which feels a little hurtful, right? Overall, I think it's important to remember that over 3 years, the average is 10.6% increase. So what does this mean for folks? For people who have an individual plan, it doesn't hurt too badly. But for those who have a family plan, on the higher level plan, Travis calls that the Cadillac plan, because we have really super great insurance, but that Cadillac plan, it's going to hurt you a little bit. And so what Melissa and Troy have talked about is working with our insurance consultants called One Digital, and for them to see if we can have some additional options to help folks who want to have some additional choice so that their cost increase will not be so great for the insurance. Make sense? That makes sense? So more to come on this. We have work to do there. Okay, now we're going to shift and talk about some of the new things that are included in this budget proposal. So I mentioned these things earlier. We have ESL, we have special ed, where we need to add some positions to meet our needs in those areas. We're requesting a new middle school math teacher. And then last year, you may recall that the board added a half a position of a school counselor at Lakeview and a half a position at the middle school. And we continue to see challenges with mental health. And so we're asking the board to consider making each of those a full position. So basically adding one more position in that area. And then additional areas of focus fall into some position realignments and stipends to help support kids like Girls on the Run and some different things for I can never say that word, experiential learning. That was Colleen's word. It was not my word. Here we go. I can say school bus. Also included are maybe a couple school buses, some lighting, some instruments for the middle school, some maintenance projects and machinery, paving, and some inclusive play equipment for Lakeview. Okay, now the numbers. This is where I get comfy. I'm not so comfortable with the words, but better for the numbers. So really a balanced budget is like a big math problem. The revenue we get needs to match what we spend. And so I think about, like, if I give Mike Ratliff $20 and I send him to Food Lion and I say he'll say he needs cookies, ice cream, cake, and a loaf of bread. And he gets to the checkout and it's $23 and the bread is $3. He's got to put the bread back because he doesn't have enough to cover it. This budget, and it sounds like a simple way to think about it, but that's how I think about stuff. It's my special ed background. Like, how are we going to make it simple? That's really it. What we want to spend has to match what we have. Everybody gets that, right? Okay, so this is my favorite slide in the whole thing. I asked Colleen, I said, can you give me some buckets? And so this is how I think about it. I think about the Colonial Heights Public Schools bucket as the biggest bucket, and that's where everything flows into it. That's all of our revenue being dumped in. We have the state bucket that gives us some state revenue. We have a federal bucket. We have a city bucket. And then we have a bucket of other up there on the top left. I'm not sure what the letters on that bucket are.
It's the FCC. That's where we get our money.
Okay. Okay, so federal funds, and these monies come with strings attached. So we don't get to spend them any way we want. They're spent on certain categories. So titles 1 and 4 are reading and math, specialized instruction and intervention. Title 2 is professional development. Title 3 is ESL. And then it covers some of our special education. And then we have the state budget. There are a couple things to think about when you think about the state money that comes in. One is it's based on ADM, average daily membership. And you can see that we're projecting just a little bit higher next year. And the more, or the greater your ADM is, the more money you get. But it's tricky because we don't want to project too high, because then what happens? We don't get all the money we've projected to get. Does that make sense? So we're always kind of conservative, right, Melissa?
Yes.
We have discussions about this. Like, you know, we're really projected, like the state gives us a projected number, and we usually guess a little lower because we'd rather have our guess be a little lower and come out with more money in the end if we need to. And then the next part, and I love this that Colleen did. Local composite index, that is an indicator of a locality's ability to pay. And so if we think about this, the standards of quality says you must have a certain number of positions based on how many students you have. So let's say you have 10 elementary teachers, but the standards of quality says for that amount of students that you have those 10 teachers for, you really only need 6 teachers. But we have 10 because we know that's what's best for kids. And so let's think about how much money we'll get. So let's pretend that each of those teachers costs $50,000 a year. I'm just using easy numbers, right? So how many of those teachers do we have to pay for off the top? Patrick? 4. Okay, how much money is that? $200,000. Okay, so that leaves us 6 teachers that we're going to get some money for. And so this tells us for every dollar that we spend, the state's going to be 60 cents and we're going to be 40 cents. So Patrick, let's put him on the spot.
I was talking to Mark. Okay.
So for those other 6 teachers, and they're each paid $50,000, for each of those teachers, the state will give us $30,000, right? So how much money is that for those 6 teachers? 6 times 3 is 18, is
18,000. Right.
180,000.
Yeah.
So we have 200,000 and 180,000. No, the state's giving us 180. So what's that left over for the local? 120. So 320,000 is the local money. The state's only giving us 180,000 for those 10 teachers. So it really falls a lot on the local money. Did y'all follow me? Is that too confusing? That's how I have to think about it. Okay? Does that make sense? Y'all understand now? Right? So who carries the lion's share of what we have to pay? Kristen, would you say? The local, right? And you wouldn't think that, right? When you say SOQ funded positions, everybody thinks, oh, that's the state's paying for all of that, but it's really not that way all the time. All right, so state funds, we get an increase of about 1.2 million. And then local funds, we're very grateful for this. Right now, we're anticipating about a $2.5 million increase. And then other funds, the Federal Communications Commission, this will be E-rate funded projects for fiber, for internet and networking. And this is reimbursable about 85 to 90%. So we pay for it, we say we paid for it, and then they give us some money back, which is always fun. 192,000 increase on that. So then when we look at all those revenue sources and we break it down, because we love a graph that makes it easy for us to see, we see that we get about 43% from the city, 42% from the state, about 6% from federal funds, and then our beginning fund balance that we carry over is about 7.5. Okay, revenue changes, total here, about 4.2 million. And the targets of that increased revenue, remember we were over $1 million just for that 3%. Health insurance is going to be another, it's about 750,000 just for the board's portion. We have some new positions. We have a capital request for schools and technology, and then capital request for maintenance and transportation. The remainder goes into the contingency reserve and the CIP reserve. And remember, the contingency reserve is our rainy day fund. That's our boiler broke. It's going to cost us $150,000. We didn't have it in the budget. Oh no, where do we get it? We go to the contingency reserve and Troy writes us a check, right? And then our CIP reserve, remember that's our 5-year plan, our capital improvement plan. That's where we're building money to take care of big projects that we need. Things, and we'll talk about some of those in just a minute. Get back to that. So categorical expenditures, around 70% goes into instruction, and that's people and stuff and all the things that go along with instruction. And then maintenance about 10%, and then it goes down from there. So this total budget is a little over $65.5 million. Oh. Thank you. And so back to the CIP or the capital improvement plan. So right now, when we look at what's been funded, we still have kind of active right now, the Colonial Heights High School entrance and offices and the fine arts wing. The reason we still have that there is we have one last little piece, and that's that switch gear that we're going to have put in the summer, the last little piece of that. The tech center HVAC, kudos to Kenny and to Troy for for finding a solution that was way cheaper than the initial $4 million estimate on that. So they've ordered all the wall units, and I believe they've contracted with the person to do the ground units and the ceiling units and all of that good stuff. And then there's a little bit of money in there for tennis court resurfacing. So those are the things that are currently funded. And then we have unfunded projects. So if you look at from 2022 all the way down to 25, 26, if we go back, it's roughly that $11 million, give or take a little bit. And there's some reasons for that, but you just need to know that roughly that's where it is. So there we have it. We've talked about what's important to us. We've talked about why it's important. We've talked about where our money comes from. We've talked about our buckets. We've talked about our insurance. We've talked about pay. And we've talked about why we do what we do, because we're making every decision based on what's best for kids. And so then our next steps, the next thing that we're going to talk about here tonight is budget work sessions. And so the board will consider some dates for that. Next board meeting, the 25th, there will be a public hearing on the budget where anybody from the public may come and share their thoughts about the proposed budget. And then at the March board meeting, the board will approve the final budget, and then we'll send it over to the city. And again, I want to thank all of the people who helped put this part together and to help get us to this point. And I want to thank you in advance to the board for the work that you guys will do to help us make decisions on what's based on what's right for kids for Colonial Heights. So thank y'all for your time, and I appreciate it so much.
So next time on the agenda is to discuss the dates. We're all getting to real detail of this, and appreciate the overview here. So we have proposed dates for the work sessions of Tuesday, February 11th, Tuesday at 4 p.m., Tuesday, February 25th at 4 p.m., and then if needed, March 11th at 8 a.m. You have a motion to approve those as work sessions, budget work sessions?
So moved.
Second?
Dr. Cox?
Yes.
Ms. Kachuba? Yes. Ms. Walworth? Yes. Ms. Woody?
Yes.
Mr. Neese?
Yes. Then you have to add anything to the public comment?
It's on there too. It was in that personal section.
Okay. All right, so the next item is item C, the proposed policy EBBC for naloxone administration in response to a suspected opioid overdose in a school setting.
So Christy George came to me earlier in the year and asked me if we could consider having this policy brought forward, and Stacy has helped to develop the policy in order for our first step, and that would be for our school nurses to be trained to administer naloxone. So we would just ask the board to consider this so that we can kind of get started and plan to have this resource available on site in schools should the need arise.
Any questions on the policy? You have a motion for approval? Second?
I second. Dr. Cox?
Yes.
Ms. Kachuba? Yes. Ms. Walworth? Yes. Ms. Woody?
Yes.
Mr. Neese?
Yes. Item D is North End Weather Emergency Zone, testing elementary property.
Yes, I'm gonna ask Troy if he would please talk about this for just a minute.
Sure, just a little quick history on that. This is a city project, the city will pay for the project. Currently, they have these emergency weather sirens located in 3 areas of the city. They have one at the city garage, there's one at Floral Park, and there's one across the street at the high school. They were interested in finding a location on the north end of the city, one that either the schools or the city owns the property already. And the place that they feel like is the absolute best place to put this emergency siren would be on the Tussing School property. So there's in the three documents that are included in this, there's a plat which shows, the layout of the property behind the school. So this emergency siren would be located right off Brockwell Lane, right behind the ball field. And it has a lot of southern exposure, so it's able to be solar powered, so they're not going to have to run any power lines to it. But they do need the school board to grant an easement. So what you have in the documents is one, a deed of easement that was drawn up by the city attorney. There's also a resolution, I believe the city attorney drafted, that authorizes the superintendent to enter into this deed of easement with the city and sign that document. I don't have a date that they're going to install it. I think once they get this signed off on by the school board, give them the easement, and they'll schedule that with the vendor to install it. I don't anticipate any interruptions or problems, with the school when they go ahead and erect this structure.
Any questions or comments? Do you have a motion to approve the easement for the emergency weather siren?
So moved.
Got a second?
Second.
Dr. Cox?
Yes.
Ms. Kachuba?
Yes.
Ms. Walworth?
Yes.
Ms. Woody?
Yes.
Mr. Neese?
Yes. All right, moving on to item 11, the financial report summary for November and December 2023.
Good evening. In your board packet was the financial reports for November and December, and I'm happy to take any questions if you have any.
Any questions? Thank you. Do you have a motion to approve the November and December 2024 financial report summary?
So moved.
Second?
Dr. Cox?
Yes.
Ms. Kachuba?
Yes.
Ms. Walworth?
Yes.
Ms. Woody?
Yes.
Mr. Neese?
Yes.
Thank
you
you.
very much.
Thank you.
All right, item 12 under unfinished business, we have the 5-year Gwinnett Public School capital improvement project list.
I ask Troy if he could take that one, please.
Sure. If the board recalls, in November, you received a draft of the 5-year capital improvement plan. And then you had a reorganizational meeting in early January and made some changes to that document that have been included in what you have. If the board approves this tonight, we'll send a copy over to the city manager, and then we'll roll that up into the citywide 5-year capital improvement plan. And superintendent's touched on a number of the things in the budget presentation of what's funded and what's unfunded. But you basically are left with a little over $20 million of projects that haven't been funded at this point. And that consists of the cell phone signal booster project, the high school student commons and dining and food preparation improvements, athletic facility enhancements, North Elementary music and art room addition, Lakeview or Tussing or both expansion, and then high school auxiliary gym. Those are the main projects. We have a couple large maintenance capital projects. One is improvement to the football field stadium lighting. And then there's a project that we need to work on, which is the high school tennis courts and the middle school tennis court, pickleball court. So if I remember correctly, I think the new courts were put in somewhere 2018-19, and the courts need some routine maintenance. There's some cracks developing in them, and we need to resurface those courts. So it's a project. We've gotten a cost proposal for both areas, and that's included in here. So with the board's approval of this listing, we'll send that over to the city, and then the school board and city council will get together and determine what's the best way to fund these projects and move forward. I'm glad to answer any questions you have on the document.
Any questions? We spent a lot of time discussing this in the work session last year. Do you have a motion to approve the 5-year capital improvement project list?
So moved.
And a second?
Second. Dr. Cox?
Yes.
Ms. Kachuba?
Yes.
Ms. Walwer?
Yes.
Ms. Woody?
Yes.
Mr. Neese?
Yes. Moving on to item 13, reports. So we'll start with Office of the Superintendent.
Thank you. I want to start off by just letting the board know that we have gone through the process of selecting Teachers of the Year and Staff Members of the Year for actually next year. But I wanted to just mention those and let you know who they are. So for the high school, the Teacher of the Year is David Flickinger, and Staff Member of the Year, Mary Vaughn. Middle school is Chris Martin and Courtney Harrison. Lakeview, Angie Johnson and Tracy Jones. North is Tammy Young and Alex Bean. And Tussing are Renee Best and Kim Buffalo. Our division Teacher of the Year is Mr. David Flickinger, who has been teaching at the high school for a number of years, a long time, and has really contributed a lot over the years and really helped a lot of kids. And so I think he was very deserving of that honor. And so just a big congratulations to all those folks and all of the hard work that they put in each and every day for our students. We've already talked about Principals Appreciation Week, but again, thank you to all the principals for all that you do. I want to mention maintenance and all of their work over, we haven't had snow in a while, and so they have gotten put in some extra time and helping with making sure everything is safe and ready to go for us in the schools, and so we're very appreciative of that. Just a couple other things I want to mention. We have the February Follies coming up on February 22nd, and that is our big fundraiser for the Education Foundation. The American Legion, very appreciative of them. Each year they come and present a flag program to our first graders, and that's going to be on February 4th at all 3 elementary schools. And then North had to reschedule their DARE graduation because of weather, and I believe it's February 5th
Yes.
at 9:15 at North. And so I just wanted to mention that. Thank you.
Item B, Office of Business Services.
I just have one item. The superintendent talked a little bit about this in the budget presentation, but we do have a kickoff meeting next week, I think February 5th, for the HVAC project here. As she mentioned, there are 51 what are called through the wall units that our staff are going to put in place. This contract that we bid out is for the rooftop unit and the outside air units, the associated ductwork and things that go along with that. It's a pretty expensive portion, total project, but just want to let you know that they're going to get that underway starting next week.
Thank you. Office of Instructional Services.
We don't have much, but I just want to mention that in all of our schools at all levels, we've been doing mid-year testing, whether it's second quarter benchmark testing, valves testing, access testing has started for our L students. And so teachers are working hard to kind of make up from those snow days and get the testing done so we can analyze that data and determine how to move forward. And I just want to say that we've been working hard and commend the staff for all they're doing at this time.
And definitely appreciate, you talked about snow days, and that was a wrinkle in some of the plans that they're testing, so I appreciate all the work that the staff does to adjust for that. Office of Support Services.
Save the date for our feet meet. It will be April 16th at the football field, starting at 9:30. Used to be called Little Feet Meet, but since we include pre-K through 12th grade feet meet. And then our third Cup of Comfort, which is a support group that Dana Barefoot has started, will be Thursday evening from 5 to 6:30 here at the Tech Center. And childcare is provided for parents or family members.
Thank you. School reports.
Hello, so next week, we're gonna get a busy week at Lakeview. On Tuesday, Richmond author Theodore Taylor III will be visiting with our 3rd, 4th, and 5th grade students. And then on Thursday, February 6th, we'll have our DARE graduation, so please come on by. We'd love to have you.
And at North, we are starting after-school remediation starts next week for our 3rd through 5th graders on Tuesdays and Thursdays, going through the end of March. And on February the 20th, we are hosting our very, very first Superstar STEAM Fest. We are going to be serving dinner. It's nachos because it's nacho average steam night. So come on now. So anyway, we would love to have you. We're going to start around 5 o'clock with dinner. It's in conjunction with our book fair. So we hope we get a big crowd. And my goal is to run out of all the supplies so that we have to do it again. So thank you.
Then at Tiger Nation, we're kicking off the second semester. We start our remediation next week. I think it's February 4th. But also this Thursday, we have our drama club. We'll put on their production. We had to postpone it from December. We're actually doing something special. Our understudies will have a presentation at 4:30, and then the main characters will go on at 6. So come on down, support our understudies as well as our main characters. On the 7th, we have Tussin Got Talent. Thank you, Ms. Felton, for allowing us to use the middle school. It's completely free. We just ask for donations, but we understand everyone can't afford to come, so it's completely free. So our Tigers can, shine to the public. And then on the 14th, we have House Cooler, our house celebration. If you want breakfast, come on down for pancakes. You want to help us cook. Thank you, Patrick. Thank you, Mark. Thank you, Travis, for coming to help us out cooking. We normally have about 300 to 350 families and Tigers there. It's a great event. It's a great community event, and we love putting it on.
Right, at the middle school, recently we had a fun and successful activity night. The PTO puts that on twice a year. It's a good time. All the kids come out for a few hours on a Friday night and just run around and play games, basketball tournament, eat and dance, and what middle schoolers do best, right? Just recently, our drama club, they put on Pinocchio, the show Pinocchio. The kids did a great job, and they really had a great turnout, so we're really proud of them. And next Tuesday, I believe, is our last home game for our boys basketball season before we move into the playoffs. Otherwise, instruction, we just started second semester. We just wrapped up SGA testing, so we are gathering data and plugging right along.
Thank you. And Mr. Neese, Mr. Nelson wasn't feeling well.
Okay.
So just want to let you know.
Any committee reports? Student representative report?
Hello, everyone. Okay, so to recap some of our events in December, we had our Holiday Spirit Week, which was the 13th through the 19th. There was a lot more participation this year, which was nice to see everyone getting in the holiday spirit. That same week, SCA also held a new hot chocolate fundraiser. Monday through Wednesday, students and staff could purchase tickets for a cup of hot chocolate. And to make it fun, we had a range of different toppings like whipped cream, sprinkles, marshmallows, things like that. And then with those tickets, students were called down to receive their treat during second block on Thursday the 19th, the day before winter break, which made that day a little more fun. And it was a big hit with students. With that, we raised around $300. Then after we came back from break in January, students started their second semester classes and are on their way to finishing out the school year. One incredible accomplishment we would like to highlight is recently freshman Landon Ely broke the high school swim record for the 500 freestyle, which is pretty amazing. Also recently, on January 17th and 18th, the Colonial Players performed Clue on stage. And then the last thing I wanted to touch on is our upcoming SCA fundraiser for Valentine's Day. So next month, February 10th through the 14th, we will be selling little packs of Nerds Gummy Clusters since they're so popular. We plan to attach them to a little paper heart for students to write little messages on. And then in true Valentine fashion, they get to send them to their friends, and we will deliver them to students twice throughout the week, similar to our previous Food Grams fundraiser in October. So now we're back and rolling along with the new semester, and we anticipate even more things to talk about next time.
Thank you. Item 13, board member comments.
I agree.
Yes.
First of all, what an honor it is to be a board member. Didn't know that life would go this way to be a school board member, but I'm very, very appreciative of people's confidence in me to do this. I look forward to not only working with the school division, but also board members. Really look forward to that. I think the second thing is I wanted to share and just tell our principals how much we appreciate you. Hopefully, you got a lot of great things during the week, and hopefully it's year-wide. But thank you all for your leadership and what you do for our kids. And then finally, I do have to mention Heidi. And I always say this, but it's okay. I'm gonna keep saying it this way. So I taught her in Virginia history in 7th grade. And I always like to say this, and she thrived despite that experience. So we're always very appreciative of you, and I've had an opportunity to work with so many capacities. And, you know, she said it very well when she did the budget presentation, and it's always about students with her. And I think whether it's been a teacher, an assistant superintendent, whatever she has done, that has always been her true purpose. And I think Colonial Heights has so benefited from everything you've done in your leadership. And we may not let you go that easy in terms of not checking back in and seeing how everything's going. Best wishes in retirement, richly deserved. Thank you so much.
I'd like to say too, just to Heidi, I know it's not goodbye, because we've got a lot of work to do. Not letting y'all go easy, right?
That's right.
But just how you've had such a positive impact on every part of our culture throughout your tenure here, and just in your leadership in the last 2 years have just been invaluable. Certainly as a board member, working with you has just allowed us the opportunity to really see the full spectrum of needs for our community, and just your leadership in putting kids first, putting our staff first in our community. Been very appreciated so much.
Do you have a motion for adjournment?
Second.
A second?
All in favor?
Thank you all.
We could stay home.
Yeah.